Rowan Frost here, and I'm back in August 6th, 7th, 8th, and we're going to cover the first week in September in a sky mirror, and it's not exactly the normal sky. We're having an eclipse, and it's Wednesday night for you folks. Yeah. It's really the last little bit of August. In the morning you wake up, Thursday, you're on the eclipse. Even Wednesday night, you know, it's very strong. Now, make no bones about it, all the stuff these papered PhDs tell us about, you know, the natives all are superstitious and they all run around crazy like when the eclipse happens. Listen, eclipses kill the sun. Lunar eclipses kill the moon. So when you have a full lunar eclipse, important ladies die. The Queen, Sister, you know, Mary and shit. There's all these, you know, when the sun is eclipsed, the king dies. So it's really a big thing. And this happens a lot. And, you know, for all of the papered PhDs talk, they don't know. I never watched it. I mean, I found that hit on Nixon with, never mind, eclipses are important. You just watch them where they are, what's going on, because things get snuffed out. Now you could use an eclipse to snuff something out. In this case, well, I'm not sure. I had a lot of data to give you, and this is not easy. But the main thing is there's a feeling of violence there because this eclipse opposes Neptune and squares Saturn and Mars. Saturn and Mars are together here, and Saturn is the great malefic, Mars is the lesser malefic, and the two of them are here. And you know, this is a pattern called a T-square. It's tight. The eclipse is at 9.5, Saturn's at 10, Mars at 11, Neptune at 11. Now Neptune is, this is strange because let's suppose you're Neptune and you're a priest, artist, doctor, musician, and you're on a little shaky ground on your religion or your oil company job or something, we don't know. But a lot of Neptune, about half of the Neptune people have a lot to cover up somehow. Oh yeah, it's the truth. And whether it's ill-gotten gains or sex trips or whatever, but along comes somebody that threatens them on the eclipse, and bang, the guy dies. And Neptune could get blamed. What is this? This is a religious fanatic. This is the poison. This is the Roundup. This is the pesticide. This is, oh, what's going on here? Here's Mars and Saturn trying to block it and square it, but the forces of authority, Saturn, and the forces of physicality, Mars, they couldn't stop it. They just kind of made it worse. And so this thing goes off kind of suddenly, and some people are going to get really ticked off. So, you know, I'm labeling this a bad moon rising. And the truth is, it's bad for the whole month of September at least. Yeah. Now, you had Mercury go retrograde on the 30th. If you're in a Thursday show, well, anyway, on August 30th, Mercury goes retrograde. There it is, Tuesday. And then Wednesday night, you have the eclipse. So Mercury's going backwards. And he's all, it's strange because he's there with Jupiter and Venus. Venus and Jupiter and Mercury, they're all there. You go look after sunset. After the sun goes down, this chart just goes around every 24 hours. So here's the sun going down. Blink. An hour later, you look out there. Well, half an hour later. This is about an hour. About an hour after that, those three beautiful planets, Venus and Jupiter and Mercury, are all going to shine so bright and slowly set about an hour after sunrise or sunset. Doesn't matter where you are. Go out and look. You know, and as the moon's going to go by there Friday night or Thursday night, and yeah, September 1st. So there's a beautiful thing going on. It's very strange. because here's love, and here's kids, and talk, and Jupiter, wisdom. It's all happening here at the end of Virgo. But here in the beginning of Virgo, we have an eclipse, and there's death and destruction. And an important, I call a VIP man dies. This threatens the king and any of them. So you're kind of alternating, alternating between vicious anger from Mars and Saturn, and man, this can get really bad. And squaring Neptune, the guy got drunk and took out his sword and ran out into the crowd and killed all the men. Something, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. This thing is, I've never seen this before. So we can just pick at the pieces a little bit and tell you when it happens. But I know some of the time there's going to be kind of a vicious anger. And that's on Wednesdays now. It's going to move back into Thursdays. And then there's this period of honest words and some enlightenment. So it's, it's like manic depressive here. Yes, it is. So let's look at some details of the thing. You've noticed I've marked these certain areas here where this thing could go off, and I don't want to be around. One of these times Wednesday, heck, moon goes into Virgo, I'm going to lock the door all the way through Wednesday and Thursday. Friday morning, here comes the goodies, and time to open up and go out and play with the birds and have a beautiful time and think about love. If you can get over what happened on the eclipse. And usually, the timing on these things is bizarre, because I studied a lot on this. And the ancients had a lot to say, but some of them said eclipses last as long in years as an eclipse takes in minutes. In our case, it's 3 minutes. So this could go on for 3 years. What is it? Square to Mars. It's too hot. And square to Saturn, we don't have enough. And opposition to Neptune, there's no water. There's chemical things. There's privileged people here. So if you're a privileged person, look out. You could just push on somebody a little bit. They fall down and die. And boy, you're going to, Saturn and Mars. Here comes the judge. Here comes the mean cop with his billy club, and he's going to get you. So there's going to be a lot of that. I'm amazed. They say the guy in the Philippines stopped with his death squads for pot dealers, and he's a crazy man, just stopped. Well, this looks like him. This is worse. So I don't know what kind of persecution is going on here. Somebody sent me a link to Jim Jeffries, an Australian comedian. If you don't mind a lot of sexual cursing, it's not godly cursing, straight talk. Wow. And he made a point. He said, our problem isn't with Islam, or ISIS he calls it, and grins. Or the problem is not with the Muslim religion. The problem is with all religions. And there they are. And I got to agree with him. He says he never saw, an atheist ever, cut off somebody's head in the name of somebody, blah, blah, blah. No. It's the religions. 2,000 years of them. Privileged people. And they're conning us all into believing stuff. And, Anyway, that's my take on it. Okay, let's look at it day by day. And see what we can ferret out so you can understand it a little better. If you're on the Thursday night show, well, just the night before or the morning before, you got into that, and there was things spilling and fires and fights. And Neptune is flammable liquids, and Mars is a source of ignition. So here are some big fires and some, pipelines, refineries, I don't know what. The thing happened late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. Moon's in Gemini. Friday morning when you wake up, the moon's still in Gemini until you get past lunchtime. But there is a nice sextile to Uranus here. And so there's some common sense pops up Friday morning, the 26th of August. But look out, here's Venus and Jupiter and Mercury, and everybody's talking too much and there's too many words and the kids are all yelling and everybody's having a good time here on Friday. What is this? But it's so loud, nobody likes this. Who taught that kid to scream and yell like that? Damn. Friday night late, here you are at midnight and the fathers are finally relaxing a little bit. What a day. Jeez. Moon's in Cancer. Things mellow out. Saturday morning, there's even some ambition around. And Saturday, in the middle of the day, here's a nice trine to Neptune. There's music, religion, art, music. Oh, you know, Monsanto's not so bad. Roundup is good. You know, look, we can kill those weeds really quick. Use seawater. Seawater is what they use in Australia. Don't put Roundup in your environment. Just go down, get a bucket of seawater, or however you carry water down to the beach, bring it back with seawater. Pour it on a little bit of weeds in your yard, see what happens. The government's not going to do this, folks. We have to do it. And there's the wisdom of it, Saturday in the middle of the day. But wait a minute, the police are going to arrest me for taking seawater. Here's a little panicky thing around dinner time. After dinner, the moon opposes Pluto. And it seems like there could be interruptions. And a little scariness here from Saturday afternoon all the way through Sunday afternoon when there's a square to Uranus and we're a little jittery. And is that a blink in the light bulb? Sunday morning? So that's the old Pluto-Uranus square. But looky here, Sunday night, here's a sextile to Mercury and Jupiter and Venus, and Sunday night the 28th is sweet. It's the last of Cancer. When the moon moves into Leo, well, it'll just get a little hotter and feel more more lion-like and less crab-like. But the goodies are here in Cancer, and this is about 10 o'clock. The moon shifts into Leo, and they change a little bit, but it's still going to be pretty nice Sunday night, Monday morning, and continues through Monday, the 29th here, because here's Mars is set up with Saturn, huh? And these guys say, well, let's do something to help people. Mars is a keeper of the forest, you know. And you should go up there and kill the lilikoi vines that are growing all over the banana polka, they call them. It's not lilikoi. Growing all over our koa trees and save the forest. That's what's needed. That's what we got to be doing here. Some physical work. Put the army to work on that. Put the police, all these young guys running around with guns, put them to work. Saving the forest, planting the rice, and in the kava. So in the okay, so enough. Do some constructive work Monday night. Moon's in Leo. It's a good time to do it. It's going to be a little different after the eclipse. You can even get your neighbors to help here Tuesday afternoon. There's a trine to Uranus, and there's we in-luck catch. I am another you. If we all treat each other like that, the whole reality changes. Yeah. So you have a chance at it Tuesday night. If it comes at you, grab it. Wednesday you wake up, it's the 31st. You're in the Virgo zone and the eclipse is coming at you. I wouldn't start anything here new. Anything you started here on Wednesday, that eclipse gonna kill it. Now you could do some things if you wanted to get rid of something. Maybe this is a good time to go and salt water all the weeds along your mowing strip and see what happens, because you can use the killing power of this to do something. It's in Virgo, small intestine. It's a good time to cleanse out the parasites from your intestinal tract. Yeah. So, eclipses are, but this one is tricky. It squares Saturn. The rules and regulations are against that. Squares Mars. Guys with guns come. Opposes Neptune. The priests, artists, doctors are aghast. What is that you're doing? Spraying seawater all around? No, we want Roundup. Uh-oh. So it's a good time to confront some of these issues. I mean, you may have some in your neighborhood and your eyes burn and you think you've got asthma, and it's really just overspray. They spray it on the ground liquid, and then after a day or two it dries up and you get little tiny particles and the wind blows those around. You don't see them, they're small, but you breathe them, and they're in your eyes. So check your eyes, check your lungs. This is going to be a month of putting up with some crap from Neptune, but you don't want to, go down the drain because of an opposition to Neptune, which means, that ocean work, anything out in the ocean could wind up killing some people here and some men, and some important ones. The king should stay out of the water, starting on this eclipse for a couple months, see what happens. So, it's Wednesday, you're in the eclipse, do as little as possible. Careful what you visualize, you may get it. Thursday morning, there is a little conjunction to the North Node, and maybe we can nurture and help each other a little bit here. A little nurturing is a good thing. Then there's a trine to Pluto. We need some control and some territoriality and some investigations here. Things could get better. I don't know. What I found is that in eclipses you're in shock. I remember the eclipse on Kauai, and some ladies made a yeast bread, and the yeast just blew up the best bread you ever had, so fluffy. And all the ladies on the west side of Kauai who baked their own bread passed around this culture, to make bread with. Ooh boy. I remember there was a cat born right out in the yard of this one person and the cat was born right on the eclipse. It all went totally dark, and there in Kaba'a, this little cat was born, and it was an amazing cat. It talked, it thought it was a person, high IQ, very adventurous. It made it for about a year, and then a truck ran over it. So things born at this time on eclipses oftentimes have short lives. If you want something to have a short life, go ahead, birth it on Wednesday night, Thursday, and see what happens. But I sure wouldn't go and plant important plants here. Mars would dry them out. Well, Saturn dries it, actually. Mars heats it up. So we got drying heat. And then Neptune makes it worse. Eek. So I'll bet you it's going to take a couple days to even get the new vibes. And here Friday morning, the moon goes by Jupiter and Mercury, and things are more happy, and there's wisdom coming out, and you're on the good side, the honest word side, and try to forget what happened on that vicious eclipse. It is vicious. The moon's in Libra on Friday. Have a good Friday. Celebrate. Be with people you love. Saturday morning, here's a nice sextile to Saturn. You can actually make a plan to do some physical maintenance. And Mars will come along and help Saturday night. Pluto won't. Don't investigate Saturday night. And don't get too territorial. You just want to get the physical stuff fixed. And on Sunday, take a break. The moon's opposing Uranus. There could be some winds. Unusual people pop up. Take Sunday off. You deserve it.